Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 88 of the new Build Your Stash and Craft. I figured we have to make it to at least 104. That'll be 2 years. But it's going to be longer than 2 years because I am missing weeks here and there now that I'm back to work. So if you want to make sure that you catch all of the videos, don't forget, click the bell. That will tell you when I put up a video, because normally they used to come out on Tuesdays. I've decided I'm not going to hold this till next Tuesday because it's only Wednesday right now. So I'm going to get this done and I'm going to upload it as soon as I can. I thought that I would show you something that I'm working on. I get up fairly early in the morning, and that gives me a couple hours before I have to get ready for work to get some things worked on. But I am trying to get this is my last project to put at the art gallery that I put items in for Christmas, and I'm trying to get it done in time for someone to be able to go find it for a Christmas present. So, because you get too close to Christmas and people are kind of done shopping. So, but this is, I call this, There's No Place Like the Past. And this was a really dark frame. I didn't like the dark frame, so I put a couple coats of gesso on it. And normally what I do then is I put a coat of white paint and I distress it. Now I am going back and forth as to, do I really want to distress it or not? I kind of like how the darkness of the frame is showing a little bit through the gesso. I'll show you up close a little bit. And so I'm really still debating on that. So I don't have the frame done, which I need to get that done so I can clear coat it. But I'm still deciding. I may leave it just like this, because if I put a coat of white paint on it, it's going to cover up that you just see a little darkness here and there. And so anyways, if you have a thought on that, what do you think? Do you like it like that, or should I distress it and then go ahead and clear coat it? But anyway, so this is what I've done, and I'm going to take the frame off so that I can get it a little closer so you can see it. And I just work on it a little bit every morning, but it's just a piece of hand stitching or slow stitching, whatever you want to call it, with some X's, and we have a little bit of embellishments as far as that's not fabric. We have some sequins and a few beads, and then I have this kind of neat fibers where it's a little ball, like a puff ball, like a snowball, and then a little bit of twine and another little puff ball. But it just seemed so plain, so I wrapped this ribbon around it, and I like the way that that turned out. Got a little bit of very vintage rickrack here and some white rickrack here. This one is kind of cream. So this whole thing is done in mostly whites with just a touch of cream. A bit of lace underneath that rickrack, and this piece of rickrack goes underneath with some little French knots there. And this is a really, I love this fluffy yarn that I got. And so I was doing the like the little star where you wrap the rosettes for kind of weaving, and I did the first one here, and it was like, it looks like a snowball, and so I thought, I'm going to make a snowman. And so I went ahead and put a smaller star and a larger star and weaved those with that same fabric and wound up making a little snowman here. And then I just slow stitched all around him, you know, so that it just gave us a little texture to our fabric there. So lazy daisy chain and some cross stitching. This is another piece of that fluffy yarn that's on top of a cream colored lace, and it was just so plain, and it had this design in the lace, so I went ahead and put that on there and couched it down. We've got some little daisies here in white, and they kind of come here and go up around this way with a little tiny Christmas tree with some fibers here, a few buttons, a piece of sew-on bling, some of the long pistol stitches, I believe they're called, to make a snowflake. And then I just wanted to put something in the middle. I thought we needed just a little bit of something there. And then there's a piece of lace that goes here. It's a fabric, actually. It's like a fabric with a, across the bottom, it has the little holes where you can put ribbon through. So I put a little bit of that white fibers there. So that's how far I am. It's almost done. I have a little bit of stitching to do here or there. I've got seed stitches up here. I love the seed stitches. I love the way that they look. But surprisingly with the white stitching, how that really blends into the white fabrics. I normally use, you know, contrasting threads, but this one needed to be white. I wanted the whole thing to pretty much be white, you know, a little cream or whatever. We've got this little touch of clear and silver here. But yeah, so it really has been a little different. I've never done white on white for stitching before. So at least not that I can remember. But I've really been having a really good time with this. And so I thought I'd show you what I've been up to. That's why I've been missing you, because I've been working on this every morning. But I did see, and it's been a little bit ago, only like maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month ago, that I saw someone make these balls, and I love them. Let's see, I have a little dish here. Let me put it here. And I have this little, like, I got this little wine glass or martini glass or whatever it is at the store, and I've been throwing them in there. But these are so cute. They're little fabric balls. And I started making them when I was making Christmas ornaments to take up to the gallery. And so as I had extras left over, you know, all the little teeny tiny bits, I would toss them in a pile while I was working and then make these little balls. And I absolutely love them. And if I can find, I didn't have time this morning. It was either make a video or try and find the link. And so I am going to try and find the link for these, but it was someone I don't even know, because it just came up after I had watched something, on my TV that, you know, from someone I did know. So I'm really not sure who did this, but this was not my original idea, but I think that they are awesome. And I don't know why. I just really thought they were so cool. And like, I got this little glass. I thought it was really cute with the way that this stem comes out here. And so I picked it up at the Salvation Army. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And and that was right before I started making these. So as I made them, I just started tossing them in there, and they make a really, really cute decoration. So, and I actually made a few of these. I think these ones here. Yeah, I think these three. I actually just made these. I had some fibers like that I had cut for little girls' necklaces, so little girls could make some necklaces and they could choose what they wanted. And I had extras. And so I just cut them all about, probably like bits off of them like this long, and wrap them all together because I wanted to make some and I didn't have that many fabric bits sitting around. So, so I just made some fabric bits myself without them actually being leftover bits. So, but my glass is getting just too full. So anyways, but I just thought that these were really cool, and I'm going to show you how to make them because they're the simplest thing. And, you know, like it's something you can do with your leftovers. Leftovers that you really probably would throw away. So the one that I have made for this project here so far is this one here, and I just think it's pretty cute. It's got just touches of sparkle in it. One bit from some things I thought I was going to use, and then there's a little sparkle around the snowman. There's a couple bits of that in there, but I don't even know if they show. But this is what I made, and basically as I'm making something, you know, you take out, like, these are a little bit of those puff balls off of the one that was like little like snowballs and thread. And then normally when I just toss whatever fabric that I'm not using just up above me, just get it out of my way. Where's my scissors? But when I'm done and I'm going to put things away, sometimes I'll go in, see this one I like cut a design out of, but I'll go in and I will cut it or tear it into a straighter piece. I really don't care to have pieces that are totally off the wall put away. I would prefer to try and kind of put them away in nice little pieces. You know, this is a piece that I did, but I really don't like what's hanging off here. And now you might like that because that might look good on the next project, but I don't want that on there. I'm going to just trim that up. And so, you know, that's pretty much what I did. Like this one, I cut the piece that I have on there. came right out of here. So it was these little swirls like this, but I really don't like those tails hanging out there like that. And so I'm going to cut those off. And so by the time I'm done cleaning up, sometimes I will square this off again, or maybe even leave it because it's not really that bad. Or this one looks kind of cool, how it's kind of going up like this. Oh, almost like a Santa Claus hat. So I might keep that one. And then I've got all the threads, you know, that I just threw up there when they got too short. This was a piece that I had cut off, and it's nice and long and straight. So, but this part in the middle, I don't really care for. It's a little too thin and getting a little too curly. So I'm going to take that out of there and grab that thread. Just get rid of those threads. Get rid of all the little bits that you just don't want. And then you have something to do with them. And it's really simple. It's really fast. And what can you do with it after you make them? Well, I think it's cute in the little glass jar. I'm just going to get rid of that. See, here's a little piece I cut out of some lace, but I didn't use it, but I'll still keep that. This is a piece of edging, and I'll keep that. So, you know, I'm not wasting things that I will probably use in the future. I am just, like I said, it's just strings and just bits of fabric that got torn off that I really don't need to keep every little teeny tiny piece of fabric. When I started out, I did. And I used them too, because until I got my stash built up, sometimes I might need a little piece of white. And so, you know, having that little piece was great. But this one's going to have more creams in it, because when I did that other one, I didn't put any of the cream colored in it. I just used my white scraps. But see, here's some more of that fibers. Even these little bits that got cut off a doily. And so here's the little bits that went around this snowman, which are kind of sparkly. There's some green something. I don't want that. So I'm going to keep all of these bits. And then, like, this is that mesh that we made the angel wings with. But it's too hard, really. But it has this really pretty piece in it. And I was going to put this on my canvas. I did not like it. And so I didn't put it on there. But I'm going to pull that color bit out of there, because I will throw that away. It's all fraying. Here's another piece of it. And, you know, it's all fraying and everything. I'm not going to keep this bit. But that little sparkly bit will look kind of cool, I think, in my ball. So again, little bits of string. And here is a piece that I cut out that obviously will keep that. Little bit of doily, I'm not going to keep that. These are all little bits of the corners of doilies that got cut off. And so that's what I've got. Now, this one is bigger. And I can tell you right now, this is going to be smaller because of what how much is here. But if you make them smaller, you could make like a little necklace. And so what was I saying? What could you use them for? You could spray them with your perfume or with some kind of a potpourri spray. And then you could, if you make small ones, I don't think I would want to wear this one as a necklace, but a small one might make a really cute necklace. So we're going to make this one small. And take this needle off of here. We're going to make it small so that I'll show you how you can make it into a necklace. You could also make them as Christmas baubles. So I'm just going to take it, and you just take it and wad it up together. Now this one, some of these pieces, the doily pieces and stuff are very solid. So this is not going to squish as much as I thought it was. But yeah, you could make them, even smaller than what this one's going to be. And then you're going to need some thread. And originally I just grabbed thread. I did find out that they're much better if you find a thread that matches kind of a little bit whatever you're working on. So it doesn't stand out so much, because you really don't want it to stand out. So I'm just going to take the end of the thread, just kind of put it in there and hold it and just go around. Now this is just really messy. I'm just going to go around here. Oops, I let go of the thread, so it kind of took off on me. So I went that way. So now I'm going to go this way, just until I get that thread caught to where it's not moving. And then once you get the thread caught in there, okay, now I don't really have to hold it too much. And you don't have to pull super, super hard. Scrunch your fabric and then go around. Now, you can make this, then I'm going to just kind of fold that in. You can make it so your stuff sticks out everywhere, or you can make it, you can put enough wraps on it that your stuff doesn't hardly stick out at all. I kind of like it in between. I like a little bit of stuff sticking out and pretty much everything. You want to make sure that you kind of catch it in there, you know, so it doesn't fall out. Because I even thought they might be kind of cute to just carry in your pocket. Just, I don't know why, just because you could put a little perfume on them and just carry them in your pocket. So there's something like in your coat pocket or whatever. When you put your hand in your pocket, you can kind of just, you know, hang on to it, move it around, whatever. I'm a very tactile person. I like things to feel. So, used to be a joke at work way back when I worked that I had what they called rubby cups, because whenever I drank my coffee, whoops, and now I spilt it, I would rub my cup like this. And so my cups all had to have something on the side that I could rub and feel it. So I guess that is what, see, now I've got a little bit of coffee stain on there. I probably will put a little bit more stain on there. You don't want to get these super wet because they're solid. So I don't want to soak that in coffee because I'm not so sure the center will ever dry. So don't do that. But you know, if you want to spray something smelly on it, don't overdo it. You know, just light mist. You know, you can put more on it, but put a light mist, let it dry a little bit, light mist, and let it dry a little bit. Don't soak it with something. All right, so there we go. Now you know how to coffee dye things. All right, so you're just going to wrap it around until you get it to where you think that it looks the way you want it to look. There's not too much. That's really sticking out there. I'm not even sure if you can see that, but it's sticking out there quite far. So I'm going to fold that over. But I can't go like this because my thread's coming this way. If I go like straight up there, the thread's just going to come off the edge. So I'm going to kind of angle around. I'm going to angle down so that I can angle it around. And it may take a couple of times to get it to where I will be going that way. And that piece does not want to stay down. So there we go. Now, once you get it pretty much the way that you like it, we're going to make it a little bit more secure for sure. So we're going to take some of this thread, and I'm going to take probably a good foot. And then you're going to want a needle that's sharp. I picked out one with a big eye in it so that it wouldn't take me forever to thread it. I have been using just a regular sewing needle. You don't need a big needle like this, but I just wanted to make it easier. And when I thread, I kind of pinch my thread between my fingers, open my fingers up just enough to where I can see the end of that thread, and then I can kind of line that eye up and slide it down over the thread. That's how I do it. All right, so we're going to now take this. Where does it come off? It's right here. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to go right there, and I'm going to go right through this fabric. Now, this is a really fat needle, and it doesn't really want to go through there that well. Okay, and then if you have a needle puller, this is a piece of rubber, okay? But they make needle pullers, and they work really well for something like this. Now I've come off down here, so you can move a little bit, go around a little bit, use your table to push that needle through, and if it's kind of stuck, pull it with a piece of rubber. And you don't have to do this a ton of times. I kind of like to, I think it makes it just a little more secure if I just go around and sew through it a bit. And again, that's a really tough spot. So, and I have found that you don't want to, you don't want to squish them too hard, or it's hard to get your needle through. If you can't get your needle through the middle, that's okay. Just go through the edges until you think, okay, I think that I've sewn it together enough. I think it's not going to just fall apart, because you don't want it to fall apart. And so once you've got it sewn enough, you're just going to knot it. So I'm going to put my knot here where it's a little bit frilly. Boy, that needle is just really hard to get through there, because it's big and fat. So I guess we don't want to use, you don't want to use really big ones when you've got all these different type fibers. Whoops. And then once you put a knot in it, so that you're not cutting, and I do this with a lot of things that I sew that are bulky like this, so that you're not cutting your thread right next to your knot, so you don't want it to come undone, and so that you're not leaving an extra bit right next to your knot so that it doesn't come undone because you don't want to cut too close. Just go somewhere else, go through your project, and then you can cut it off just wherever you went through, because that's, you can cut it off right close, because that's not where your knot is. Your knot's way over here. So that's not going to unthread through there and unthread through and then, you know, and then get to your knot, and your knot's going to come out. So that's a good way to make sure your knot doesn't come undone. So now you've got this. So let's say you want to turn it into something to hang. You don't want to take your thread, and I'm going to take a piece of this here. And this is just, I pick these always up at my thrift stores. I never buy those at the store. I don't even know how much they cost at the store. But I can usually get them for 69 cents. And then usually what I do is I look at the tags, because our Salvation Army does 50% off a certain color tag and 75% off a different color tag every week. So let's say you think you want it to hang, you know, like a little loop to hang on a Christmas tree or to hang on a necklace or something like that. So you're thinking, okay, put it like this and put a knot in it here, and then you've got your loop. So you sew through your, you sew right through your little fabric ball, and there's your loop. But here's the problem. How do you get your knot? How do you get your needle off? So that doesn't work. You can't do it like that, you know. You can pull it right up to that knot, but you're just stuck. So you have to do it one at a time. So put a knot in your thread just so that you don't go through. I don't actually pull it up to that knot, but that's just so I don't pull it through on accident. All right, then you might want to decide if you're going to make this into an ornament or a necklace or something, like what side do you want up, what side do you want down? I'm going to say I like this side for the up side. Okay, so I'm going to go right up through there. And again, if you can't get right through the middle, that's okay. If you come right over the edge, wherever you come off, it's just going to hang right there. Nobody's going to know where that thread is inside the ball. So you just come up with just a single thread. Okay, so here's my single thread. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go right back down in the same spot and pretty much try and come out very close to, see, I'm over here. That's not too bad, but if you don't like it, kind of back it off and move it over a little bit until you're a little closer. Come out next to the thread that you've got there. And again, like I said, I put that knot in there just so that I didn't accidentally pull it through. Because sometimes when you're pulling on it, you give it a bit of a jerk and it pulls the whole thing. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to pull that through like that. Okay, so now I've got my two threads. Now, you look at this and you think, okay, that's a nice size loop on there right there. I like that. Well, that's not going to be the size of your loop. By the time you get a knot tied in here and pull that knot up into your ball a little bit, that loop's going to be a lot larger. So I've learned to do, I just take one of my skewers and I stick it through there, because I like my, well, like if you were doing a Christmas ornament, then a long loop would be good. But if you want to hang it like on a necklace or something and put a jump ring on it or something like that, you're going to want a shorter loop. So I just go ahead and I pull that tight on there so that I don't lose my loop. And then I tie these together. I'm going to cut that really long one off. And just tie it around there. make sure that my knot's tight. And I'm going to tie it one more time because I don't want it to go through and pull out the other side. Make sure that it's tight, and there we go. Now I'm going to cut off close to my knot, but not right next to it because it's going to pull up in there. And then I'm going to pull up on that skewer. That just made my knot disappear into there. Got a couple little tails there, which if you want, you could cut those off a little bit. I like them because they're matching my ball. And then now we have this nice little hoop here that we could actually just hang on a cord and spray this with perfume and then hang it on a necklace. Or like I said, you don't even have to have any hoops. You can just put them in a decorative dish, and you can make all different sizes. And they're just fun. I really like them. So whoever it was that did this, and like I said, I will look and see if I can find them. I just don't know if I can because I don't even know what she called them. But I just thought that it was just like the most interesting, fun thing to do. And like I said, now I'm keeping these scraps, which again, you know, that's what we do. We're hoarders. But look, I got rid of these scraps. I got those all cleaned up. And I am going to throw away this little bit of a pile, a pretty good sized pile that I had started here from finishing this project. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, let me know what you think. Should I paint this white and distress it and then clear coat it? Or should I just kind of leave it this white with the darkness coming from underneath and just clear coat it the way that it is? I just don't know. So, and again, it's not New Year's, but cheers. Have fun making them. They really are fun to make. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Next week is also going to be a scrap project, scrap paper or scrap fabric. They don't need to be big pieces at all. So, and hopefully it will be next week that I get back with you. Again, click the bell so that you know when it's going to be, because I just can't promise Tuesdays anymore like I used to. I figured I could get them done on the weekends, but the weekends now just seem to be much busier than they used to be when I had all week to do other things around the house. Now I just have the weekend. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.